All right, here we are at a local car show in Southern California in Laguna Hills. Every last Sunday of the month. If you want to know more, just message me. But we got two rare 70 series here. The red one, original paint, is from Colombia, and then the blue one is Godzilla, those of you on the channel, Japanese model. Well, both are built in Japan, as most Land Cruisers are. However, a lot of people don't know that Colombia also, Toyota set up a manufacturing facility there, and they also make the 70 series. However, this one in particular is JDM for Colombia, because I guess they couldn't build enough there. So this is a 1991, and it is the same engine as a FJ73 that we had here in the US, minus the electronic fuel injection. So it's a 3F engine. And then the blue one is a diesel, because that's an HZJ73 versus an FJ73. F for gas, H for diesel. And as you know, California, this is where we're at, they don't like these trucks so much. So these are both registered out of state. Both are lifted. So on the left, Godzilla has a spring over axle, but on the right, it is a spring under axle, but with old man emu lift. As you can tell, it is lifted. Could be deceiving because Godzilla is just so tall, but that Colombian 70 is 73, I should say, is lifted. But let's get into it. So there's some really cool features on this 70 series. It was built to be used, and it has been used, and still driving great to this day. So in Colombia, they go kilometers and not miles, right, for the odometer. But there's the interior. And one cool thing that we'll come back to in a second are those rear seats. Well, in fact, I've got Chris, the owner, here beside me, and we're going to ask him some questions on this truck. So let's first start with one thing that popped out to me. Your rear seats. What is this?
So the rear seats, the vehicle came with the side-mounted troop-style seats, so 3 passengers on each side. This is a bus seat. This came from a school bus, so it is a very solid, safety-oriented seat. The centers flip up, and you can have a normal seating with a normal seat belt on the side there, or you can flip down the centers and put a child in a 5-point harness. That's the reason I got this, is because the truck itself doesn't have a roll bar, and I wanted the safety, as did my wife, for our children. So
even though this acts kind of as your roll bar,
yeah,
it doesn't have the additional.
It doesn't have the additional tube
cage.
roll bar. So we wanted the safety. So this seat it's very heavy, but it's very safe. It's like I said, it's from a school bus. It's meant to protect kids, and it has the 5-point harnesses. So with the kids, I no longer have to use the traditional
that's cool.
Booster seats. So the kids love it. They're not in their booster seats. These are their race car seats, we call them, so they love it.
There you hear it, guys. No excuses. You can tell the wife, like, of course the kids can come off-roading. I've got a school bus seat with harnesses built in. In fact, if you're interested in these, you can hit me with a message down below, and I can put you in touch with Chris. He can hook you up, get you a set of those bus seats, I think for a pretty darn good price. All right, so the front of this Light Force, I know of Light Force. They make amazing lights. So those were already on the truck, right? Like the winch and everything.
Pretty much everything you see on the vehicle was as I bought it. As you had mentioned, the previous owner, he used it. He was a well-to-do gentleman, and this was his toy. Many times in Colombia and other third world countries, these are utilitarian. They use them for taxis, they use them for school buses, hauling coffee, but this one was truly a hobbyist vehicle, and he had it outfitted exactly as you see it.
Nice. And I bet you that lights up the night.
Absolutely.
Custom bar, custom on the side there too, your side steps. Very cool. And then a roof rack. The roof rack, is that custom, or?
That's a local build too. In Colombia, like again, other third world countries, they don't really have access to a lot of items, and many times it's cheaper or more reasonable to build it. So the local craftsmen will design them and build them up, and that's what you'll find on the cars.
The good old oh shit handle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's super cool. And that functioning snorkel, right?
Oh yes, yep, that's completely functioning. In Colombia, they like to go through what they call the llanos, the grasslands that get very wet, and you need a snorkel.
Yeah. And if the light force weren't enough, you got a massive light bar up top.
And lights up the night also.
Yeah, so cool. Just to show a comparison difference. So you've got leather seats, and it's actually like a 60-40 splitter. You can have 2 people on one side,
right,
plus driver. And this was technically a 9-passenger because when you had the rear facing seats bench, it was 3 on each side. So 6 in the back.
Correct. In Colombia, they call it a 9-passenger vehicle.
6 in the back, 3 in the front. Damn. And then mine bucket seats. So this is 5-passenger.
Right.
You have almost double the passengers I could take. And mine's upholstery, not leather, and right-hand drive. And just we were talking, they're both FRP tops. This FRP has the roll cage in the back, even though this bar up top where that light is, the dome light, that's a functioning part of your roll cage, protects you. But in the back, this has that additional bar versus when it doesn't. But still removable top if you wanted to go through that process to make it all out convertible. Why not pop the trunk, not the trunk, the hood, the bonnet, and let's check out that engine. So just a lot of you that know Land Cruisers, you'll notice the 3F, but it's not the 3FE, it's just the 3F, which means it's carbureted, right?
Yes, it's carbureted. Yeah. The absence of the E in the designation is what tells you that.
And the 3FE made it into the 80 series for 91, 92 year models. Also, obviously, in the FJ73. But at 155 horsepower, when you put it in one of these billy goats, that's actually going to be a lot of pep, a lot of power. So tell us, it rolls well, drives well?
Yeah, absolutely. When I got it, it was a leaking, mess-making machine. So I took it all apart. Engine stayed together because compression numbers were good. So I just took it apart, resealed everything else, painted it up, and anything else I've done to this vehicle is all just to make it better, just to improve it, seal things up. And it drives great. I can cruise 70 to 75 on the freeway fine with it loaded. So in terms of American use, it works great on the freeways here. And of course, drop it into low range and go anywhere you want to go. It's just a blast to drive.
Is super clean. Did you change the radiator?
Yeah, it had the original brass radiator in it. I took it to a shop. The old gentleman said, "Hey, I'd like to fix this, but it's too far gone." He said, "Just get one of these aluminum ones out of China." He said, in all reality, these are much better than trying to fix your old one. So I went with that.
Yeah.
And I've been very impressed with it.
Yeah, this is super clean. I mean, so you can tell you've given a lot of attention to the heart of this cruiser. One question I get a lot, because my cruiser there, it's JDM. I have 3 right-hand drive imported, but I didn't import one of them. They were already imported. So a lot of people ask, how do you do it? How do you import it? So maybe share, the cliff notes on how you got this here to the U.S.
Yeah, really. So I was fortunate enough that I was living in Colombia at the time where I got this one, so I could see it in person, choose one that I wanted that was of the quality that I wanted, because many of them are not. So in terms of importing or buying from a different country, that's the first thing you want to do, is either fly there or have a person on the ground to look at that stuff for you. In terms of importing, what it takes is actually not that much work. If you have some patience and can download a few forms, you can get what you need to import a vehicle. Exporting is a little different, and it's good to have somebody on the ground, but there are plenty of services and companies out there that are doing that for people, especially in the Land Cruiser world. So it all depends on the country you go to that you want to buy from. But honestly, in the US, it's literally about 3 documents: name, address, phone number, purchase price, stuff like that.
EPA.
Yeah, the EPA. There's really not much to it. So again, if you have a little patience and don't mind doing the work, it can be done by your average Joe. Just the hardest part technically is buying it. So wherever you're going to get it from, making sure you get a good vehicle. That's where a lot of people have gone wrong, and a lot of people have trusted buyers from out of country. And are having higher expectations than
Yeah.
what was delivered.
You-
So
you
unfortunately,
were-
it was a bad name for a lot of Land Cruisers. But
And you were boots on the ground, so you saw this. You were your own broker.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I looked at a lot of bad vehicles, and I finally pulled the trigger on this one. So
Yeah.
my previous one I bought sight unseen, but it was through a family member that looked at it. You know, not really a car person, but they took good pictures for me. So
Yeah.
having a person on the ground wherever you're buying from is key to get what you expect.
I think on the Japanese imports, they have a rating system. So even the auctioneer, they have to answer all these questions and they have to give a rating. Plus you can look at pictures, but it's an extra level. Maybe from Colombia, there isn't that level of scrutiny from the auctioneer.
Yeah. What's interesting in Colombia and why I have chosen Colombia, not one because of family there, two because I can go there boots on the ground, I can navigate my way around. Thirdly, in the vehicle system, they actually have records of the cars, all the history of transfer of ownership, very down and detailed level. So you can actually go back and track the history, all the sales, and everything, even the annual inspections. When you buy the car, it actually comes with all those records. So that's one thing you don't get in a lot of countries, but you do if you ask for it in Colombia.
Got it. Kind of like we have Carfax, but other countries don't. So it's either you have the actual documents. I know I bought a Defender with 89,000 miles and I have all the documents, some of it handwritten on a Winnie the Pooh letterhead. It's hilarious, but if you got that, that's great. Next is you have to rely on reporting systems like a Carfax. Or when we're talking Toyota Land Cruisers, you're looking at the body. We know the engines are great. You want to make sure it's like the actual miles, like not true miles unknown tagged. But like in your case, you still, no matter what cruiser you're going to get, you were going to work on the engine and just get it baselined.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I did. It was baselined, and then just to get it to seal up. Like I said, the compression numbers were good, and I went at it and just want to make it nice and drivable and look well too. So I think I've achieved that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is sweet, and I'm sure you experience the same thing I do. You go get groceries. You go to the gas station. You're getting stopped. People have questions.
Absolutely. People don't know what to think of it. Some people like it, some people hate it, but they still have to ask the question. What is it?
Yeah.
Where did it come from? How do I get one?
How do I get one? Because literally there's like 1 million plus of these out there, just they never made it to the US. Diesel or any diesel Land Cruiser Toyota, or especially the 70 series, and they still make them today. You can get a 2023 70 series.
Yep.
Wagon, shorty like this. There's a whole bunch of different models, but they are great. That's why they've lasted and have been in manufacturing for so long. Do they still make it in Colombia?
No, the manufacturing in Colombia has shut down, so any of that they're selling there are still from Japan, directly from Japan.
From Japan, okay. Cool. Anything else you'd want to add that someone would need to know on a 70 series?
To me, I think the reason that drew me to it was that it still has all the heritage of the original 25 series, 40 series, because you still have the removable top, the windshield that folds down, and when I drive it, like I said, I owned a 40 series previously. It still feels like a 40 series. They're just raw, they're solid. There's just something about them that's magical that draws me to it, and I think other people would be drawn to the 70 series also. It just has the true same heart that the 40 series, all the original Toyotas that everybody came to love and know. It has all of that. It's just modernized and even stronger.
And the 70 series, a lot of people don't know, it's the replacement to the 40. The 60 series, the 55 was the wagon. The 60 series is the more refined wagon. They were going more after luxury. Even though it's solid axle, it's known as wagons, and the 70 is known as heavy duty.
Yes.
These are the heavy duty trucks that was purpose built to replace the 40 series.
Yeah. And then into the mid 90s, and when they still continued the full leaf spring suspension too, so that gives them the extra heavy duty. And then later, I think it was the late 90s when they started going to the coil springs. So I believe yours is leaf spring front and rear, correct?
Leaf spring front and rear, just like yours. Yep.
Very heavy duty, indestructible.
Yep. Awesome. Well, ditto. I love mine. I love the fact that it's rare. Well, it's kind of, it's like a, not an oxymoron, but they're super popular. Millions were built. They still make them today, but it's rare here in the U.S.
Correct.
And that just makes it extra special and fun to drive around, you know? Well, very cool. Thanks for sharing with us, Chris. It's a beautiful rig.
Thank you.
And like I said, the bus seat in the back, anybody, you know, Jeep, Land Cruiser, whatever vehicle you have, if you're looking to bring your kids, that's the safe way to do it. Bolt down a bus seat, and if you want to get a bus seat, you can definitely get hooked up by Chris. All right, enjoy your week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to subscribe and follow if you like Land Cruisers. This is what we talk about on this channel. All right, goodbye. I'll edit that out. Goodbye now. Bye-bye. We'll see ya.